Brazil, Brazil, Brazil. No, 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 no. Oh, that gate is a terrible fate. Hold on. All right. How about now? That's better. Every day, the air conditioner is noisy in a new way, but we're blessed to have the miracle of refrigeration. Definitely my favorites. If I can get 3 chapters done today, I'll get to an average of 2 chapters every day that we're editing, which would be cool. Let me see. I'm gonna cut this out, and I'm gonna just re-add it as a comment because I thought it was a pretty good idea, but then we don't do it. All right, this may be a rough sell. YouTube.com/ZaxCYZ. Holla. Live novel edit. Holla. No, well. Let me add the /live. If I was smart, I'd get a bunch of work and stuff done today. Want to clean out a shed and mow grass and hook up guitar pedals and wire a Euro rack and a million things that I would like to get done that I am not about to. All right. Let me see. Well, this lady's got a whole thing. All right. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, let's get back to it there. So, if we're on page 222, we're well over halfway into this manuscript because I think no, I'm sorry, the manuscript is like 500 pages. So, we're just approaching on halfway through. It's not too bad. Let me get mm-hmm. I think everybody is just still hungover from watching the fight last night. Lord knows I am. Yeah, it was I can't say the name of the people who were injured in the fights last night, but it was ridiculous. Let me see. Wait, who is this idiot? HCS1.ca. Oh, it's Shelby. Shelby, nobody cares about your nonsense. Brazil, Brazil. All right. Let me see. All right. Let me see. HCS1.ca. Whatever. Yeah. of detractors apparently. So uh, F and then my nickname says probably still in bed at 8:44 a.m. Eastern time. No, I had to. It's it's like the mid afternoon for me now. Let's see. He says, "Dude, your literature is such garbage. How much you make? $100 a year, raffle." And then he gets banned from the channel. I feed off of that negative energy. Just between you and me. Like, nothing makes me happier. All right. But what would make me even happier is if we could finish this chapter. Ooh. All right, so this is chapter 29. So we just got through an Una chapter, Vestido Mojada. And then this one, I think, gets into like the main Dungeons and Dragons style adventure type thing. I enjoy this kind of thing. Like, I always like a good dungeon crawl. So let's get down to it. Hold, Cinnabonathi whispered. Ureg swept his arms out to bar the others. His powerful arms. uh, his powerful arms could nearly span the. Because I want to say he's ripped, but I don't want to say, I don't want to turn this into like a bodice ripper. But there's meant to be some tension with Ureg and all this whatever. Faflet sang from its scabbard. At her will, the sky metal scimitar drank the light from their torches and cast the corridor into a deep midnight. A shudder ran through the hawk moons. Even some of the men could feel it. I don't think that adds anything to this line. Ooh. Man, I should really just be doing an LRH at the moment. There's so much popping off in the chat. But I won't be happy unless I get at least a chapter done. uh, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You don't really even know. Hurt the ones you love the most. Oh, shoot. Agatha Anonymous. Oh, man. I didn't even realize that you were in the chat there. Sorry, I was dealing with some idiot in LRH. Let me see. Uh, oh, yeah. Actually, we're going to cut that. Uh-huh. Reading ahead, don't know if that... No, I'll give you a point for that. I went to all the trouble to make this leaderboard. I might as well give you the point. All right, so Agatha. It's an important point, actually, because it ties you for the lead, buddy. All right. Let's get back into it. Oh, shoot. Let's see. Oh, I'm getting cute messages on WhatsApp. Yeah, every time that you hang out with foreigners, you have to install WhatsApp on your phone. They love it for some reason. And that Weibao or whatever Chinese version. It's a requirement. All right. Faflet sang from its scabbard. At her will, the sky metal scimitar drank the light from their torches and cast the corridor into a deep midnight. A shudder rang through the hawk moon. Hawk moon is plural. The azure blade was forged from a tear of the blue moon. Sorrow spread with every slash. In the sudden dark, the men and the dwarves who had tarried too long on the surface groped for their weapons. Thinking themselves hidden, their masks slipped. Cinnabonathi saw all. They were afraid, they were angry, and most of all, they were uncertain. They did not trust their leadership. Trust. All right. No, I'm really. It's very difficult not to be distracted by IRC at the moment because there's a royal spur gout going on. Let's see. Yeah, so this should be set into. It should be broken into a whatever. Yeah, I'm hungover from watching the fights last night, so sadly my Oh, look at that. The face that got me looking back. My acuity is low. We may only have one chapter in us there. Oh, 30 seconds of the main fights. Yeah, he's no longer Mystic Mac. Now he's Dipshit Mac. That stupid kick. The Patty fight was just amazing, honestly. I don't really blame Benoit Saint Denis for going for like a takedown because he lands a punch. He's like, okay, good. I can get in there, wrestle, tire him out, and so forth. But then he is not ready for this crazy like monkey guillotine that Pimlet got off. And then the Connor fight, that's just, one of those freak unfortunate accidents and so forth. I still think like 80% chance that Max would have just beaten the dog piss out of him. But yeah, I honestly like very happy with the event. I'm also happy that I didn't buy tickets to go there and see it and so forth. But some great fights on the card, like the Whitaker fight to end the prelims was amazing. He just showed like tremendous grit, just getting popped over and over again by I forget Krylov, and still just walked him down and stomped him. And then what other fights? Apparently the Garbrandt fight was sad, and he should retire. I think he even took his gloves off, and they just didn't let him get an interview or whatever. But yeah, he apparently got beat bad. What other cards? The King Green fight was amazing. Old Bobby Green. So Bobby Green, the Chinese ladyboy in the prelims beat the living shit. I took a nap during the prelims because that's the only way that I can stay up to watch like all the fights. So I only really saw like maybe the first two or three, and then the Whitaker one. Wang Tong, good hammering. Hell yeah, yeah. I like. I like. I'm happy to have ladies fighting as long as they beat the ever living dog shit out of each other. That for that one I do have to. I can't stop myself. All right, so let's go down to here. Swear jar, $27. You know what? Let's do 28 because I also said that other thing earlier. Yeah. Yeah. My what else is decent on that fight card? The Bautista fight was decent to watch there, especially because Sandhagen was like so smug about ruining Davison Figueroa's knee, which is always awful when like a knee bar just wrecks somebody's knee. Because I've like blown out either an MCL or an ACL or whatever, and it is like 2 years before you get back to 90%. It's a shitty injury. Dang it. What? It's a awful injury. And really this it is lazy of me to just curse all the time. I should be if I was really creative, I would be coming up with better ways to get this across rather than just reaching for the low-hanging fruit of the most obscene way I can put something across. But so that one was decent. I liked seeing Bautista. I think there was one boring fight on the main card, and then just knowing that people will rage about the McGregor fight forever. Like they'll be upset about it for a year and making memes and like and like honestly, it's not easy to come back after like 5 years. And McGregor, I felt, did like a good job of trash talking, like leading up to the fight. I was interested enough to like tune in and watch the fight. Like he did his job, and there is a slight chance, like so. Obviously, it was his game plan to come with like this surprise flying kick, and if that had landed and like stunned Max, I feel like something crazy like that was really his only chance to actually get in and do something. Obviously he needed to do something crazy because he's not stupid. He knows that Max Holloway is just going to beat him down over 5 rounds, and I don't think that he's a good enough boxer to just knock him out in like 1 or 2 rounds. Like his main hope was just that Max was like a little bit slower at 170. Not really happening. And you could even like the way that Max was like taking advantage of him being on the ground and so forth. It was like he was in for a rough night. So injuring his leg, although like monetarily disastrous for him, I think it just saved him from like a pretty significant beating. So what I really want to see is the rematch of Max and Ilya, because I do think that Holloway can beat Ilya if he's at the right weight and not like completely drained the way that he was in the first Ilya fight. So, although like just packing on like 15 pounds of muscle to get in this fight for like the huge payday. Anyhow, we're now on the MMA stream. There, it is tempting to, what I would kind of like to do is just like have an MMA news stream, but where it's all made up and just complete lies, right? And I report it like it's fact. It's like what was it, like Angela Hill having Conor McGregor's baby, and just Dana White furiously beating it in the closet, like and just see how long I could go on before everybody hated me. But in any case, in the sudden dark, the men and the dwarves who had tarried too long on the surface groped for their weapons. Thinking themselves hidden, their masks slipped. Cinnabonathi saw all. They were afraid. They were angry. They were afraid. They were angry. Most of all, they were uncertain. The troops did not trust her leadership. It stung deep, and all the more because she agreed. Too many were gone. This ragtag company felt like a mouthful of missing teeth. She could not. Oh, so all throughout this chapter, we have failed to capitalize dwarves. That may have been that this chapter was written like before I decided to make a lot of the formatting changes that we later went on. It stung deep, all the more because she agreed. Hold on. Let me make sure. How is this? There we go. All right. I see Logic active in the chat, but for him, it's like 6 a.m. over there, I think. So he's probably still tore up from the night before. I got it between you and me. I'm sad to see him back on the bottle, but it's not like I'm not drinking beers last night, watching this thing myself. So hard for me to criticize, but yeah, like he and booze don't go well together. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, it's like I don't know what to make of it, to tell you the truth. But it seems like he's doing a little better. Yeah, it's definitely hard to quit. It's mainly like harder to quit for people that have like more anxiety or more sort of depressive tendencies, where they get into like a fix and it's like stress from work is too much, and like I got to do something about this to get rid of this feeling. And the thing is, well, like I'll have a couple of beers, and it turns into like a couple of beers every night, and then the next thing you know, your liver is pickled and you're dwining out in Manitoba or something awful like that. Man on Manitoba is what I call the province. But what's the city that they live in that is so awful? Winnipeg. Ugh. 12 years dry though. Yeah, I was doing like only way I could socialize at all in college. It when I was trying to date without drinking, um, it was just like a no go. It was a nightmare. You just couldn't have fun. And so hard to get laid. And then finally, I was just like, the deal that I made with myself was like, I'm only drinking if somebody else is buying. So I would like buy dinner, and the girl would get my drinks, and it's like a little conversation piece. Um, yeah, very hard to become an addict if you are never buying your own, unless you're around a lot of people who are like desperate to keep their own addiction going. So yeah, I was good at getting the homie to pay. It's tough, man. Yeah, I would like to be 12 years dry myself. But there's beer in the fridge right now, so it ain't happening, at least until the devil beer is vanquished. What was I drinking? Like some kind of German beer where they like smoke all their hops or whatever. It was pretty good. I was enjoying everything but their pilsner. So, but I generally am big into like dark beers and weird German stuff. And oh, yeah, all right. Never liked the hoppy flavors. Wow. Honestly, like beer is the worst thing that you can drink too. It has none of the fake health benefits of wine, and it's like so much more calorically intense than just drinking liquor. So, trash man drinking nothing but malt liquor 40s. I've been there. God, I still remember like puking my guts out off a steel reserve after like a marshmallow cookout in the military. It was the worst. That is the worst I have felt by a long stretch. It stung deep, all the more because she agreedly. No, it stung. It stung her deep, all the more because she agreed. Too many were gone. This ragtag company felt like a mouthful of missing teeth. So, yeah, one of the things that so a lot of Cinnabonathi's thread is about her, feeling, what's the word for it? Inadequate as a leader, and it seems to really be like the main focal point of the character, other than she's a whore. Um, she's not actually a whore, by the way. Um, but to the prudish elves, she certainly comes across like one. Cinnabonathi could not shame the dwarves with mad valor as Burbeck could, nor could her voice crack like gun-eggs to whip the halberdiers into line. Her voice could not crack like gun-eggs to whip the halberdiers into line. Except for Mero, her own troops stared at her with undisguised contempt. All had heard of her scandalous vigil. The army needed a real leader, but the war raged on. No one else was left. With everyone still, she heard an echo that did not belong. The goblins were sneaky, but not so silent as they supposed. They're on our trail. Quench the torches. Grasp arms and follow. We'll throw them off. Relay this message. Cinnabonathi tried to imbue her whisper with the bearing of command. Okay, so that's this one where it's kind of tough to see what the dialogue tag is, but I don't think that it's just not like a verb that way. The orders leapt through her troops, no louder than a moth's wing. The hawk moon moved into place, and then kept. Yeah, this whole chapter. So there are no points available for elf and dwarf unless I miss one. Just because we have to capitalize the entire chapter. Each elf led a string of dwarves and halberdiers. The torches were snuffed and darkness closed over. Soon all could hear the ones who hunted them. The Gorelord warband outnumbered the heartbroken expedition 20-1. Cinnabonathi guided them. Cinnabonathi guided the company through a series of twists and turns that could have baffled a minotaur. Could have thrown a minotaur. Yeah. So I like thrown better there, but it's just not gonna make sense to the reader. She hummed a note at each junction so the route locked into her mind as a melody. At her side, Bobbert nodded along, committing the path. Cinnabonathi guided the company through a series of twists and turns that could have baffled a minotaur. She hummed a note at each junction so the route locked into her mind as a melody. That actually works, by the way. Have you ever caught in a maze being pursued by goblins? Happens to me all the time. At her side, Bobbert nodded along. At her side, Bobbert nodded along, memorizing the path in case they should become separated. Only Bobbert and Cinnabonathi knew Prescott's secret way. For all her efforts, Cinnabonathi could not throw the goblins off. The Gorelord had their scent. Likely some of them had been born Likely, some of the goblins had been born in these very halls. The echoes multiplied and the tunnels sighed with expectation. No one wanted to die here, where their bodies would be profaned by goblin filth and their bones would lie unburied. They could not run forever. Mm-hmm. No one wanted to die here, where their bodies would be profaned by goblin filth, and where their bones would lie unhallowed and unburied. All right, I'm going to run this through the comma machine, because to me, it seems a little janky, really and truly. Oh, I love the battle between Octo and Stovepipe. Never realizing that the Stovepipe is just like a later stage of being Octo. One extra comma that's causing a minor traffic jam in the middle of the line. Okay. So it turns out I hate that the AI is so peppy. It's like, you're very close here. This sentence has a great somber rhythm, but you have one extra comma that's causing a minor traffic jam in the middle of the line. Removing that second comma lets the sequence of horrors, the profanation, and the lack of burial link together into one powerful, devastating breath. This is the machine that's going to take all of our jobs. Oh, good. It turns out that you can get the best promotion from another machine that is trying to siphon away your money and life. Cinnabonathi searched for a place to make their stand. They came to an ancient workroom that might suit. They came to an ancient workroom that would suit. Above their heads, the vault had cracked and half collapsed. Rubble spilled into the corridor, creating a choke point. Here, Cinnabonathi decided. At once, the men and the dwarves fired the torches and set to work. They dragged the heavy slabs of the stone benches to build a wall and piled rubble behind it. They upended the broken-down mine carts to give the Hawkmoon a perch where they could shoot over the halberdiers' heads. The shield-bearers took up positions on the makeshift rampart, ready to protect the halberdiers. The moment they had torchlight and a task, all fear fled. The moment the company had torchlight and a task, all fear fled. Lieutenant Cinderman, a word, please. Cinnabonathi drew the halberdier aside. She'd been dreading this moment for days. Who would lead if you should fall? Cinnabonathi asked. Cinderman's eyes flashed with sudden understanding. He almost seemed relieved. After me? Oh, hell. There's no one truly prepared for this. Might as well let Potboy take the helm. He won't break, at least. I'll speak with Sergeant Saladan. Cinnabonathi nodded. You'll try to save the Riverlands? Lieutenant Cinderman asked. His voice was small, but his eyes were hard. He wasn't even 30 years old. Their lives went so fast. I will try, Cinnabonathi vowed. The defenses took shape. The Gorelord Warband's capital, would be forced into a meat grinder. No one believed that 20 could hold against 200. Everyone No one truly believed that 20 could hold against 200. They were all certain that they could bleed. Still, they were all certain they could bleed this tunnel green. Cinnabonathi looked out at their faces. Some afraid, some full of hate. Only Saladin was truly sanguine. She could not even hope for a swift end. She could not even hope for a swift end for the defenders. She needed these men to hold for as long as possible. Their stand was the only chance for her party to find the relic and escape. You must hold this wall at all costs. Go dark, not a sound until you see the yellow of their eyes. Then, fire the torches and curse them. The first wave will rush in blind, Cinnabonathi instructed the soldiers. Here, even the shield-bearers grunted approval. Go dark. Go dark. Not a sound until... Yeah, that works better. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. 16. Cool. I almost got 17 because of my sausage fingers. Go dark. Not a sound until you... Okay, cool. The Hawkmoon knew all about fighting goblins. Sergeant Saladin, good luck. Don't get flanked, she advised. Yes'm, Potboy smiled, as always. In spite of the dire situation, a chuckle went round the chamber. As the defenders prepared, Cinnabonathi gathered the party that would venture into the depths with her. She chose Hilg, his son Bloki, and Runagir. The dwarves were good in tight quarters, and not so reliant as the men on their leaders. Secretly, she hoped their dull souls might thwart Swillow's prophecy. Bobbert and Marrow were foretold, the only one she could truly trust. Last, she tapped Ureg. Come with us. What? No, I'll remain here. This is my kind of fight. I'm worth 10 men in a breach. Do you want to save your homeland? Then do what I say, Cinnabonathi ordered. Do you want to save your homeland? Do what I say, Cinnabonathi ordered. Ureg's jaw... Oh. So, I wonder if I can get away without a comma here. Let's find out. Because if I can get away without a comma, then I'm happy to have then. But if I cannot, then I want to... When then is used to mean in that case, or therefore, at the beginning of a sentence, it acts as an adverb. Unless you want a dramatic, theatrical pause, you should not put a comma after it. Dropping the comma keeps the Okay, cool. So, yeah, that's fine. So then becomes an adverb. Oof. Why not just drop the then? Also, let's listen to it both ways. Do you want to save your homeland? Then do what I say, right? The then is important because it's contingent. She's giving him a choice, right? Not really giving him a choice, but there's more of a choice than do you want to save your homeland? Do what I say, right? It comes across like slightly more unnatural, right? And there's just the style of command is slightly different. It's like a very very subtle differentiation, but there I think you need then to fit into like my vision for how the power dynamic works out for them, right? The then really is doing some work here in setting up how this works. They're very different. Do you want to save your homeland? Do what I say, right? It comes across more like that. Do you want to save your homeland? Then do what I say. And also, then do what I say comes across as less clipped. I know it's kind of like splitting cunt hairs here, but oh wait, I'm not allowed to say cunt on the stream, am I? Of the $30, oh, it's killing me. Ugh. It's my own fault. All right. Let me make sure I don't have to ban a bunch of idiots. Server slowly dropping off. Uh-oh. That was fake pokery. Let me see. Yeah, that's not pokery. Well, he's in Howard Stern. That might actually be pokery. Let me see. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Listen to the music. With a last look at the doomed soldiers, Cinnabanathi. Oh, this is a terrible sentence. Cinnabanathi faced the men and dwarves who would hold the wall and bid them good fortune. Then she gathered her hawkmoon and recited the Kata Kanta. The 7 adventurers gathered at the exit. A long, dark tunnel loomed ahead. Hilg, Bloki, and Runagir squinted into the distance, but Cinnabanathi was not fooled. To be night-blind was a great shame for a dwarf. The others called them dandelions. We go by darkness. Step with stealth. Follow my steps. Step with stealth. Follow my steps. Marrow has your back. Take care when we engage. When the blade tastes blood, faflets will grow very bright, she warned. Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like there's like a lot of setup prior to the action. Like we have up here, yeah, like a lot of orders. We go by darkness, blah blah blah, and the same thing here. She keeps telling him this. Yeah, they already know too. Marrow has your back. Take care when we engage. When the blade tastes blood, Faflis will grow very bright, she warned, partly to reassure the dwarves and humans they would not fight blind. Bloki shivered. Oh, that actually fixes the entire thing there. Just like cutting out that one line makes it less repetitious. Partly to reassure the dwarves and humans they would not fight blind. Bloki shouldered a heavy coil of rope, and Hilg hoisted his pack full of tools. It was time. Cinnabanathi's party advanced into the long tunnel as the defenders completed their preparations. Behind them, okay. It was time. Cinnabanathi's party advanced into the long tunnel as the defenders completed their preparations. Behind them, the torches went dark. Okay. Just as they placed their figurines at the dungeon entrance, the lights flickered out and the war room fell silent. In the sudden hush, Robin listened as the overhead fans spun down and the Coke machine's compressor faded out. Whoa, Chuck breathed. They were in total darkness. No one moved. Robin thought it was just another of Vlad's tricks. Is this a work? Sandy asked. It's not, Vlad answered. Maybe we blew a fuse. Outside, the wind built to a howl. The storm's not playing around. I bet the power's out. Duncan's voice rose with excitement. The war room door squeaked as he peeked outside. The streetlights were out, too. Yeah, so I do think you need a comma before 2. Hold on, let's... Yeah. Let me just check. Yeah, like, it feels like we do that all the time. But I'm also seeing, like, a lot of independent clauses. Or I'm seeing a lot of clauses where it's telling us no. Commas highly recommended there, but not strictly because the sentence is so short. Without the comma, the streetlights were out too. The words out and to run right into each other, which can sound a bit clunky if read aloud. The streetlights were out too. Out too. Out to, out to, out to, out to. All right, get it. Let me see. I think that's fine. The streetlights were out too. Everything's dead. Do we have to stop playing? Robin asked. He didn't want to go home. They heard the flick of a lighter. Vlad lit the 3 prayer candles. Nope. The party delved into the infernal dark. Cinnabanathi tested each step with the point of an arrow as they crept forward. Dwarves meant traps, always. Beside her, Bobbert's eyes glowed a deep blue in her moon sight. The apprentice scried for sorcery as she checked for traps. He had to cast the spell many times as they drew deeper into the black passages. Cinnabanathi had served with many magi. She knew it was taxing to peer through the plains. Bobbert never complained. Prescott's bumbling apprentice had grown stronger. Blag Boar grew uneasy as they pressed deeper into the mines. Tremors tickled their feet, and twice the mountain grumbled so fiercely that even the dwarves seemed worried. There was a tale on the wall, written without words. Rich bands of black anthracite ran through the rough-hewn corridors, and hints of load, glinted in the cracks. No earthquake could have driven the dwarves away from such riches. Something else waited in the dark. Progress was slow, but their caution paid off. Cinnabanathi spotted a skeleton separated from its skull by 2 strides. Ancient stains sprayed across the stone. Hold. Hidden in the shadow of a reinforcing beam was a slit, just above shoulder height. Cinnabanathi ordered the party on their knees to crawl under the necker. A bit later, they came across the bones of two long-dead goblins with rusted daggers jabbed in their ribs. Bobbert wondered why the killer had left his weapons behind. Bobbert wondered why the killer had left the weapons behind. There was a perfectly gobbed explanation. These two had fallen into an argument and stabbed each other. Cinnabonathi grinned and wished every other greenskin might share their fate. The mountain rumbled, and a fierce tremor wiped her smile away. There was every chance some future goblin might happen across their bones and crack the same leer. 3 more turns, and they found the fissure. Just, you know what I feel like? I feel like these paragraphs do not connect to each other well, right? Yeah. Hilg and Bloki shared a grumble of worry. Yeah, okay, cool. Nice catch, Hilg whispered. Okay, cool. Yeah, just these little bits of dialogue there. I feel she pressed on. 3 more turns and they found the fissure, just as the sage had advised them. Three more turns and they found the fissure, just as the sage promised. Humid air throbbed against their eardrums, and a faint draft carried the gentle roar of 10,000 slow drips. The slender crack, the slender crack opened into a yawning rift that sloped down steeply. The slender crack opened into a yawning rift with a steep slope. Stalactites and stalagmites jutted from the decline like crocodile teeth. Cinnabonathi rappelled down first, with the rope around her waist. Carefully, she threaded the line through the maze of teeth so the party could follow. It was impossible to be silent. Her hackles rose at every brute that scraped and rock that rattled down. It was impossible to be silent. Her hackles rose at every rattling rock and scraping boot. They made it to a tunnel where a purple light shone in the distance. They splashed along a frigid stream towards the glow, and then climbed up a slope of sharp obsidian scree to reach the score. Oh my god. Whole thing is a tongue twister. They made it to a tunnel where a purple light shone in the distance. They splashed along a frigid stream towards the glow, and then climbed up a slope of sharp obsidian scree to reach the source. The chamber was like a giant geode. Crystals grew from the walls and burned with gentle light in every shade of allium. As they peered in, tiny sparks mm-hmm. As they marveled, tiny sparks sprang off the facets like fleas. Pretty as it was, a hot wing that stank of brimstone blew from within. From within the crystal chamber. Cinnabanathi waited for the dwarves. Hilg puffed up the slope, pale and wide-eyed. He was not fond of heights. The descent in the darkness had tested his courage. Just the nose I need, Cinnabanathi said. I want her to say something more positive, but not like that she praised or. Yeah, let me see. I want a word that's said, but that is slightly warmer. That doesn't get too. No, all these are too much. Alas. Just the nose I need, Cinnabanathi said. Hilg stuck his head into the chamber and snuffled. His hairy nostrils flared wide. Air's all right for dwarves, I suppose. Elves and men, best not tarry, he warned. The crystal chamber was far larger than it seemed. A passage at the back led to a great dome that glowed in 1,000 shades from pink to deepest violet. The dwarves gasped. Capital dwarves. Capital dwarves. I almost missed both of these. The dwarves gasped, and a tremble of avarice ran through Hilg and Bloki. Runagir shook his head at the others, unaffected. Worldly wealth had no savor for a berserker. Berserker is capital. Cobalt, Hilg breathed. Argent azurite. By the bellows, it's the mother lode. We've got to get this mine going again. We could arm an entire legion in blue bane steel. So, steel would be capital there, because this is a specific form of steel. Gripped by greed, Hilg's hands shook. It's our great sport to come up short. How long did our fathers grub for Gol and Galena, never knowing the fortune beneath their feet? Bloki wondered. Hilg scowled at his boy's philosophical bent. Where? Doom finds those who delve too deep, Runagir warmed. In agreement, Ureg grunted and pointed at a pile of splintered bones. They were not the first to come this way. Just a bit further, Cinnabonathi urged. Past the crystal cathedral, the heat mounted and the sulfur stench grew dire. Cinnabonathi's head... Yeah, hold on. Mm-hmm. Let's make it a soaring dome. Just a bit further, Cinnabonathi urged. Past the crystal cathedral, the heat mounted and the sulfur stench grew dire. Cinnabonathi's head swam, but she refused to admit weakness before the dwarves. If the boy could do it, so could she. They came to a sweltering, black gap. They came to a sweltering black gap. I also frequently come to a sweltering black gap. The pinpoint of amber light shone in the distance. The path narrowed to a thin ledge along a cliff of scalding basalt. They cheated along the narrow edge while fumes swirled around them. It was a long, precarious shuffle. Midway through, she heard a sob. Hilg hid it with a cough and moved on. Hilg hid his fear with a cough and moved on. At the end, they broke through into a finished hallway where a faint... At the end, they broke through into a finished hallway and found the ancient orb that gave the amber light. Merrill and Bobbert wilted and lay gasping on the floor. The world spun about Cinnabonathi. Only pride kept her upright. Maddeningly, Ureg seemed hardly fazed. He cocked his head and listened, but they could only hear the wind from the fissure. When Cinnabonathi caught her bearings, she found the dwarves muttering amongst themselves, on edge. The hall was dwarven stonework, but the vaults were crazy, 3 times higher than any sensible dwarf would build. Sorceress orbs were set in the vaults. They glowed faintly. Sorceress orbs were set in the vaults. Yeah, that's... Sorceress orbs glowed faintly with slow shifting, honey-colored light. I think honey-colored is honey-colored. I want to say that there is a hyphen there. Yeah, because it's a compound adjective before a noun. Slow shifting, honey-colored light. Oh, all right, cool. They're caught in a lava lamp. The walls were stack-bonded square slabs, which was bad luck, and the floors were checkered white quartz against jet, which was bad taste. The three dwarves conferred. None could recognize the clan that had laid these strange stones. We can't say how old this is, Hugh admit. He was deeply unsettled. Cinnabonathi could, but she kept mum. This is pre-kingdom stonework, laid by dwarf slaves, held in thrall to black elves. Bobbert informed them. Now, Cinnabonathi could understand why Prescott had cuffed the back of Bobbert's head so many times. Now, Cinnabonathi could understand why why Prescott had cuffed Bobbert so frequently. Now, Cinnabonathi could understand why Bobbert had cuffed Bobbert so frequently. 3 sets of angry eyes fell upon her. No one could hold a grudge like a dwarf. We denounced them and fought a 1,000-year war over this, Cinnabonathi explicated. The glares burned on. This way, she pointed to the right. There was no time for ancient grievances. There was no time to revisit ancient grievances. Hold, Ureg said. He held a finger to his ear. Something follows us, he advised. Something follows us. The Northman's hearing was very keen. When she held her breath, Cinnabonathi could hear gibbering and clinking. What in bog's beard is that? He'll gasped. Ooh, okay. So, this chapter really needs another pass, honestly. But again, we know that there is like another editor that's going to be involved in this. It's a long chapter, Sunday morning. I'm hungover. I will not perform another pass at this time. But I really feel like the flow of this could improve significantly. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Also, Henry Cejudo got beat up last night at RAF. He was up 8 points on Merab Dvalishvili, and then Merab surged back and tech-falled him. It was dope. But yeah, I'm always happy to see Henry Cejudo lose. I don't think he won the first fight with the fight with Demetrius Johnson. Let's see. So what's the... All right, so chapter 29, the delve. I love the word delve. Okay, cool. And then... No, that's why. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. And this felt long. I want to say it is 2,800 words. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 3,200 words. It would not be ideal, right? I think the redesign is not too bad on Royal Load. Let's see. 2,300 words. All right, so I think I was right the first time. But then dyslexia baffled me. Let me see what the next chapter is. If it's an Una chapter, we'll keep editing. Because I'd like to get to 30. Then we'd officially be half... You know what? Let's just get to 30. Let's be halfway done with the story. In terms of chapters, not in terms of pages. We need like another 20 pages to get halfway done. Dang, Duncan shook his head. Their luck went bad after the lights came back. Hilg's hammer throw missed. The silver-headed hammer sailed past the pack of horoblins and clattered down the hall. The goblin sappers had terrible combat stats, but they were exceptionally slippery. They only needed to get in close to blow. They only needed to get in close enough to blow their alchemical bombs. Cinnabonathi? Called shot on one of the acid casts. Chuck shook his 20-sided die. Regular arrow? Vlad asked. Yeah. Seems like a good spot to use shriek shot, Sandy observed. I've only got 2 left. We're pretty deep in this dungeon. I want to save something for the boss. We don't even know if there is a boss. We'll never find out if we get blown to bits, Duncan sided with Sandy. I've got this, Chuck assured them. Chuck rolled a 6 and missed. Sandy cackled and Duncan groaned. Vlad rolled for the NPCs. Vlad rolled the defense dice for the NPCs. Marrow's arrow hit its target, but the horoblins staggered on, his casts intact. Runagir's hatchet flew wide. Slipper gobos, Sandy sighed. One good shot and they would have set off a chain reaction. If only one good shot had landed, they would have set off a chain reaction. Even Vlad seemed surprised they'd failed to stop the mad bombers. Robin had seen what horoblins could do in an LOR game. A single squad of the crazed sappers could blow up an entire unit. Now they were backed into a dead end. Robin was the only one with an action left. Save us, Bobbert, Sandy beseeched. The party had soundly vetoed his plan. Sandy beseeched. He'd wanted to blitz Ureg into the goblins and sacrifice himself, but the others had vetoed him. How close are they now? Robin asked. 40 paces, Vlad answered. Robin looked over his spells and checked the disaster table for each. The goblins were too close. A bad web would ensnare everyone. They were frenzied, so he couldn't use slumber. He could throw a dagger, but his chance to hit was miserable. I attempt to parley, Robin announced. You what? Vlad was flummoxed. I mean, the horoblins explode when slain, right? And we're trapped here in this dead end. A cave-in could finish us. Bobbert, I am not sure we can negotiate with these fanatics. All they want is to blow themselves up, Duncan warned. I speak Goblin, Robin tapped his character card. He'd been waiting to do something useful all night. Vlad took him seriously, at least. Ah, but these are horoblins, the absolute dregs of goblin society. The misfits you see are the slaves of slave, the scum of scum. They speak a mishmash pidgin of gutter goblin and whatever unfortunate race they spawned from. From birth, they are kept separate, fed mind-bending herbs and brainwashed by evil shamans to serve as fearless... All right. Fed mind-bending herbs and brainwashed by evil shamans to serve as fearless kamikaze fighters, Vlad explained. Vlad laid it on. I like it. You may attempt to parley. Here. There. Vlad laid it on. You may attempt to parley, but Duncan is right. The horoblins are charging at you in a suicidal frenzy. I want something... Okay, so we didn't. You will roll at -10. How about if I cast tongues first? Wait, you took tongues? Sandy blinked in disbelief. Why not mana missile or fireball? Bobbert is just an apprentice. He hasn't mastered those powerful spells yet, Robin explained. Oh man, we're hosed, Sandy groaned. Robin, I'll say tongues would bring your penalty down to -6. It's still incredibly unlikely you can reason with these maniacs. Do I have time to cast tongues, then charm? Yes, both have a casting time of 1. With your charisma modifier, you'd be down to -1. That's still not great, Duncan frowned. It's okay. I've got a plan, Robin assured. The Horoblins are getting closer while you hesitate, Vlad prompted. How close are they now? Robin asked. 20 paces away. He flipped open the rulebook to the 2nd level Magus spells. Got it. I cast Web. Roll, please. All their eyes locked on Robin. He rolled a 1. Oh man. I really enjoy the D&D part of this, like where the narrative like flips from like this very ham-fisted like dark dungeon delvey whatever, and then you see like the players and they're like, you know, with their acne and their BCGs and stuff, just like roll away, where they're ranking on each other and stuff. It's perfect. Mm-hmm. Should okay be capitalized? I think throughout the story, we're writing okay as okay. How far back is it though? It's okay. Yeah, let's just write it out as okay. I think it looks better in text. So that gives you yet another point there. Agatha, you're going to win a hat, man. You keep it up like this. There are way less edits also in this book than there have been in previous, like in previous ones. There were like 70, 80 commas by now. And I'm doing a little better. So you're up to 17. That's a lucky number. It's prime, bro. It's prime. What? All right, hold on. I just keep checking in on the chat because of that one idiot a little bit earlier. I'm gonna waste it. Yeah, it really is crazy, like the amount of time that just one dunce can waste for everybody. All right. Okay, cool. So Buzzard has been set to not blog in #LRH. That's good. Okay, cool. Good on whoever coded that bot. All right, so let's go back here. And the Kit Kat clock talked. So I think we remembered earlier that the Kit Kat clock talked towards 3 a.m. A squadron of birds fanned across the table. Una was still up, of course. The door creaked and Robin slid in, shamefaced. Tita! Wow, did you paint all of these? You didn't have to wait up, Robin said. But she did. Just as Una had waited up for Lucinda. Her mother, Gloria, had waited up for Una, and her mother, Gloria, had waited up for Una, and Gloria's mother, Dominica, had waited up for her. It went back forever. Women who worried had more children who survived. All the way back to the times where they lived in caves and hunted for mammoth. All the way back to the times where people hunted mammoth and lived in caves. So I don't... Did we... All right, let's... Yes, ancient humans actively hunted woolly mammoths. It's a shame. While hunting was a significant part of their culture, it was not a daily activity. Archaeological evidence suggests these high-risk hunts occurred roughly every 1 to 5 years, providing enough meat to sustain groups for months. Um, cool. I'm looking at. Oh, so there's an in-depth Plebit post about this. Um, Wholesome points Q in comparison with Pleistocene megafauna. Uh, Animals and tools were together because the animals were killed by humans using weapons tipped with these tools. Overkill hypothesis posits that humans literally hunted megafauna to the point of no return. Okay, cool. So this is less well accepted. So there are only like 14 sites that show solid evidence of human megafauna association. There's mounting evidence that humans didn't arrive in the Americas as recently as 13,500 years ago, but were likely here much longer, weakening any circumstantial causal link between human arrival and megafaunal extinction. Better archaeology showing that the Paleo-Indian hunters were a lot less reliant on only megafauna than used to be believed, and in fact exploited a lot more plant and animal species than used to be known. Okay, so the answer is yes. You're still showing the leaderboard. Oh, son of a bitch. There we go. I think Zero's logic had like 110. Hold on. I think it was only like 70 or something. I think there were like 200 edits for. Wow, Logic had 122 for that, and then Spathywall was just behind him at 109. And then let me see. So for Lemon Maybe, which was like a much harder edit, honestly. So for Lemon Maybe, Spathywall had 363 edits in this book. Lemon Maybe is only about 400 pages long, but 400 pages in print. So I think Lemon Maybe is actually like a little bit shorter than this, and just like that's how far we've come. Just in a little bit. But I mean, the other things too is like I run this through a proofreader before I do it. It incorporates everything I've learned about grammar since we were editing Lemon Baby. And there are less people watching these ones because I fell off super hardcore. So, so there's less people to get less points. Like more stuff is probably slipping by, but there's less to catch. So that's what it is. The main reason why I fell off is like just my personal life being so messed up that I can't stream at a consistent time, and also like my viewers getting older and having less time for this kind of stuff. So, and also I don't have the mana that I used to as a young man, really and truly. I'm like my only hope is to do a flying kick and knock him out in the first second of the round. It's weird to be older than all the guys that I watch fighting, but I guess as soon as you get older than a certain point, that's definitely the case. All right, But she did, just as Una had waited up for Lucinda. Her mother, Gloria, had waited up. Look at all the commas in this sentence. Yeah, zapped all the time now. Same. But she did, just as Una had waited up for Lucinda. Her mother, Gloria, had waited up for Una, and Gloria's mother, Dominica, had waited up for her. It went back forever. Women who worried had more children who survived, all the way back to the times where people hunted mammoth and lived in caves. Yeah, just wait until you got some child. Maybe you already have children or whatever, but like you will find out like just how powerful the worry of women is. And I mean, you can see it even when you're just dating. Yeah. Avoid. But you can see it even when you're just dating. Like the amount that women worry compared to men. It varies person by person. We'll see. I've been out of the pool for a long time. Well, it's time to get back in then, man. Just The thing is, too, like once you get older and so forth, it's so much harder to use you than it is when you're like young and dumb. I think once you're after 35, only interested chick is another BPD. Avoid. Yeah, get out of there. Yeah, man, just start dating Mexican women. You know, like the it would be. Yeah, that is how it goes there. Yeah, just start dating like Mexican women, right? Because they have like BPD built in by default, but all the Catholic stuff kind of overrides some of it. Like, yeah, your tires are still gonna get slashed and so forth, but at the end of the day, at least you're gonna have like dinner waiting on the table. So yeah, highly recommend. Tried that too. LOL. There is a price to be paid for all of. I don't know how anybody works anything out, man. Like every relationship I'm ever in, I'm on borrowed time. I would love it like if they weren't so jealous of every move that you made too, right? They just the jealousy is crazy, man. Uh, all right, but it is what it is. You know, we're lucky anybody puts up with us. But yeah, this I do like this part of it right here. I like that we have like the chapters that look at like Una Martillo's perspective, and Una shot a petrifying look at her grandson. Robin would never understand, not unless he had children of his own. Even then, it was nothing for men. They didn't suffer the same. She could remember Hector snoring like a hurricane the first time the police hauled Lucinda Owen. Lucy was raccoon-eyed from crying and drunk as a skunk. She was only 15, too pretty, petty, and proud for her own good. She was only well, okay, cool, that works. She was only 15, and too pretty, petty, and proud for her own good. Una hammered on her constantly. A dozen times she told Lucinda she was flushing her potential down the toilet, running around with losers who would amount to nothing. She was running around with losers who would amount to nothing, and one day she would wake up and realize she was one of them. Lucinda never changed. She only got better at not getting caught. Slowly, Una drove her away. Lucinda ran off the week before her 17th birthday. Una didn't see her again until she was 23, with a baby. Robin was still standing there, unsure if he was in trouble. He probably thought Una was losing her marbles. All of that was so long ago. The trouble with Lucinda was so long ago. The trouble with Lucinda was all past, so why was she giving Robin the third degree? She'd given him permission to go to the game. It was just a bunch of noños. Ñoños. So I don't know if I'm saying ñoños correctly. Um, it was just a bunch of nerds staying up late in the back room of a model train shop. There wasn't a whiff of smoke or liquor on him, though he looked like he was about to fall over where he stood. Are you hungry? I could fix you something to eat, Una offered. I'm stuffed. Mr. Schweizer got us pies from Pizza Castle. We should go sometime. They have a green chili one you'd like. Pan, rom- pan ramojado? No, no, no. All right, let me see what if I'm spelling this right. Also, we need the upside down question mark. Let's try it. Let's see. Pan remojado. Soaked bread. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is soggy bread, but pan remojado. Okay, soaked bread. Yeah. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Look who came to visit us. Hello, sweetie. Hello. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, you want to see your adoring fans? Hello. Hello, sweetie. Oh, hello. 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 Oh, how do you want to lick me so bad? Hello. Hello, long dog. Oh, you miss me? Are you bored? Do you want to go outside? All right, let me give this doggy. Get her outside. All right, come on, pup. All right. Good dogs. Full Dan Gear side. I don't know Dan Gear. Yeah, but I will tell you that very soon the women in my life will force me to diverge from these sideburns. But yeah, it's like a few times in my life I've had like the crazy sideburns. But yeah, I want to go straight Wolverine and just get like a bunch of adamantium piercings and so Let me check. Yeah. Una chancla humeda. Okay. So, yeah, and then I need the upside down question mark. There we go. Inverted question mark is what they call it. What? I never want to paste with formatting. Pamro mojado? No, no, no. Soggy bread? Ugh. Una shook her head and stuck out her tongue. I swear, it's good. Are you okay? I'm just tired, Una lied. How was your game? It was like turning on a faucet. Robin rattled on and on. She was surprised at his memory. He seemed to have soaked up everything the other boys said. Una laughed as Robin recalled Sandy getting Vlad's goat over and over. Sandy was shocked when the Garblins always seemed to target him first. The final fight wasn't a fight at all. I wound up flubbing my spell, and everyone got stuck together in a tunnel by a giant spider web. We couldn't even fight. The final fight wasn't a fight at all. I wound up flubbing my spell, and everyone got stuck together by a giant spider web. I wound up just. Oh, yeah, he winds up twice. I flubbed my spell, and everyone got stuck together by a giant spider web. I wound up talking to these crazy goblin bombers. At first, comma, they were just. Mm-hmm. The final fight wasn't a fight at all. I flubbed my spell, and everyone got stuck together by a giant spider web. I wound up talking to these crazy goblin bombers. They were insane, but slowly I won them over. I convinced them not only should they not attack us, but they ought to turn on their evil masters and take revenge. It was a funny way to end the session. Everyone busted up laughing. Duncan said negotiation runs in our family. Aye, es verdad, Nuna crowed. So the adventure is finished? No, it keeps going. We're playing again next week. Is that okay? Can I go? Una hesitated. We'll see. Ah, please, Tita. It's so cool. Every week your character gets a little stronger as they gain experience and learn new things. The game ties in with the campaign, too. Tomorrow is Blitz Day. It's a bunch of short games that advance the plot in fun ways. You get to draw a prize for every game you win. I'm going to fight against the goblins that are attacking my expedition, while my heroes are busy delving into an ancient dungeon full of traps. I'm going to fight against the goblins that are attacking my expedition, while my heroes are busy delving into the dungeon. I can't wait for tomorrow. Robin was caught in a deep yawn. Que sueño! Cover your mouth, Conejito. Wait, where's my tupper? Una demanded. She waited all night for this moment. Oh, Robin had forgotten it in his bag. There wasn't a crumb left. Seems like they all got eaten, Una noted. They got mauled, Robin admitted. And did the boys laugh at you? No, they thought they were really cool. Duncan. No, they thought your cookies were really cool. Duncan took a picture to send to the magazine. He said to say thank you. He asked me to thank you. Pues claro. Of course. You were right, Robin uttered her favorite words. Sorry I made such a big deal about it. I was just nervous. It all went great. Hazle caso tu abuelita, menso. Listen to your grandmother, doofus. Si, tira. So C, doesn't C need a, oh, I think it has it. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, so let me see if that's the right C. No, that's not the right C. So we need this C, right? The C that has the accent on it. Yeah, this is right. So yeah, you need that C every time. It's got to have the accent. A little flag over the I. Oh wait, did you? Another one of those OKs you want to might want to expand. No, I'm gonna give you. Ask your Spanish teacher if nunca might be better than no for that. Um, your middle school teacher would say nunca, nunca, nunca. Never, never, never. Kind of interesting. Mine just comes from like hearing a bunch of people. Okay. Um, let's ask in a couple of places. Where was okay in the All right, cool. Could it be like way back in this chapter? Okay, wasn't too far back. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let me give you 2 points. I like the suggestion of nunca, 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 nunca. Um, let's check and see like which is more likely. So you're up to 19, Big Agatha. Cool. Then let's see back to the main. Only thing I can remember from that Spanish class, I remember this old lady just being like "silencio" constantly, and I remember one teacher tricking me. He's like, "Hey, you ever heard owl landing?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "No, you didn't, dummy. They're silent." And then embarrassing me in front of the class because it was like one of those yeah type things. And I remember you, old man. I'm glad you're dead. Let me see. All right, let's check with the machine. Let's see what the robot thinks. An older, why nunca doesn't quite fit here. Nunca 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 means never, never, never. An older Mexican abuelo would typically reserve nunca for a declaration of moral principle, a lifetime vow, or a strict rule. Nunca 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 lamentas tu madre. Never, never, never lie to your mother. Using it for a soggy piece of pizza sounds a bit too dramatic or existential, rather than a reaction to a, let me see, classic Mexican expression of disgust for food. Que asco. How gross. Um, so fuchi or guacala. All right. So the robot believes that you are incorrect. Um, so never, never, never gonna implement that edit. Yeah, and also like I've heard people go like, no, 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 no. Usually from housekeepers that I've been working with, but I've heard it a million times. Okay. So the adventure is finished. Cool. You were right. All right, so I like that she calls him a menso too. He was all smiles as he stumbled off to bed. Uno watched him go. Her little smile faded away. He doesn't need to know until Monday, Una decided. Ooh, drama building. Drama ticking round the clock. Lots of backstabbing and lies. Let's just all get pizza pies. IRC is serious. No, serious. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the chapter will be Hasta el lunes. All right. You're going to get a shout out. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, I'm copying chat. Na 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 na. Where could I be? Yeah, like this is the honestly like this is the magic of the story. Not in the like hack believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. If I was there, I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. It's crazy how all that sticks in your head for years and years, queers and queers. But there we are. All right, well, we made it to halfway through this book. I'm happy about it. Hasta el lunes. And this is almost, this, I think this could have been another book break here. So it ends on like a really good note. We got through that chapter there, and now I can just spend all day playing around with like Eurorack and guitar pedals. So I love this note. He doesn't need to know till Monday. So now, like the reader, they know something is up here, right? And like you have all the everything building up there. You have the call from Dr. Suarez and so forth. So and a lot of this is there because in the initial draft of this, just what is obviously going to happen was just kind of like dropped on the reader, and we didn't have sort of like a correct timeline for how these things would break out, because we have some medical stuff happening in the story that is extraordinary. So just FYI, and all of it needed to be foreshadowed and built to and so forth, and now we've done that. So yeah, really, really good. I am kind of astonished that this isn't picking up a little bit better, and I want to change. I have an advertisement running on Royal Road to try and people get into it, but I just did like, I don't think the ad is good. I think it's just trying to do too much, and like the click-through rate is abysmal and so forth. So I might, as a present to myself, just try another ad. Maybe I'll just throw $50 at the issue and just use our new cover, and just try to get like a little bit more traction onto it, because I think we could really benefit from more people like reading and commenting. But yeah, man, there is like a little bit of magic. What about an ad on a Facebook writing group? You know what I want to do is just reach out to some like Remember Albuquerque type groups. So I have to do a bunch of administrative work today, and I think that's worthwhile. But yeah, Agatha, like feel free to. The main thing is that self promotion like doesn't work. I never want to oh, what you call it, self promotion doesn't work at all. And you really need to get to a point where people are like telling their friends like, hey, this is going on or whatever. I do want to promo the cancer fundraising angle. The other thing is that I have a magazine that I got a story published in where they said that they would just promote the fact that I'm doing this. So I might want to just make like an Instagram reel that kind of like explains what I'm doing, so it's easy for them to get out to their audience, because I think Instagram is their main way that they reach out to people. So I'm gonna um, just try to think about how to make a promo for it, then reach out to them and be like, hey, would you amplify this type thing? And yeah, I think it's time to like make. I could even try like an Instagram ad or something, and then just target like book talkers and stuff like that. Because I honestly, like, now we're at the point in the story where, here, hold on, let me see how deep we've gotten into it. So on Royal Road, they say don't bother advertising until you have like 30,000 words down or something like that. Let's see, what do we have so far? Show more. I don't know. I'm adding this column of figures. Yeah, we have like 30 or 40,000 words plugged into the sky. But yeah, now is the point to try, because the other part is like I would think that this story is a lot more successful if we got like a little bit of hubbub and so forth. And I think that there is enough magic contained in this story that like, ooh, yeah, I want to keep reading that. And like it touches on enough like kind of cool emotional sparks and stuff that is worthwhile doing. And now that we have 30 chapters in, there's no doubt in my mind that we're gonna like finish this thing and really get through to the whole thing. So let me see. But yeah, I need to do like a little bit of legwork with promo to get some people interested. But honestly, like excited about the story, and I do feel like it's gonna go somewhere eventually. People are loving, by the way, the Master Arcanist. So I'm trying to get a new I need to write a chapter for it this week, and edit that chapter and get it on there, because that's the only one that people really stop and listen through. But yeah, you can see some of the recent reviews are all 5 stars, and these are not just people on IRC that I made do this, but yeah, people really dig some of this stuff. Own this Arthur's books. That's milkness. But I'm trying so hard, boy. All right. Well, have a good Sunday. Hopefully you had fun with the fights and stuff last night. Yeah, Agatha, man, like you got to tell me at some point about the writing that you're working on. But